I'm out here with pro track and field coach Gary Evans. He's out here at Florida Relay with a couple of his pro athletes that's going to be competing this weekend. Now, Gary Evans is a coach that if you don't know, you should know him. He was my coach at one point in my pro track and field career. And one of the reasons why I select him is because he has such a great resume. He's coached athletes of high caliber. Coach, first of all, I want to talk about some of the athletes you've coached. So let's put out some few names that people would probably know.
Matthew Hudson, Kyrie McMaster, Jasmine Quinn, Tamari Davis, Kenzie Dunmore, Noveline Williams-Mills.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Xavier Carter. So quite a few. I've been down the list quite a few. Shawnee Miller, Uber. So it's been quite a few athletes I've worked with, So it's been a blessing to work with them type of athletes.
Definitely, Coach. I mean, you've coached some of the best athletes. I mean, just to look up those athletes and you look up the medals beside those names, and those medals are right beside his name too. So there's definitely somebody you need to look into. So, Coach, obviously you can tell talent and you can tell who can be professional and who's going to make it in that world. What's up some of the characteristics you look for in athletes who are going pro to be successful?
Just a mindset to say, okay, I want to train hard. I want to be the best. Track and field is nothing. In track and field, you have to marry the track. I mean, you can't flirt with it. You can't casually date with it. You have to be serious and you have to marry the track. I mean, this has to be your life. You have to sleep, eat, and drink track and field if you want to be one of the best athletes out there. I think in today's time, a lot of athletes, this generation is super talented. But sometimes I think we just look at talent and then cut it off at that point and say, okay, I don't need to put the extra work in because I'm talented. Well, you could be talented, but if you need to meet another person that's just as talented as you, but put the work in, they're probably going to beat you 9 times out of 10.
Definitely, 100% can agree with that. I think one of the greatest things that you're talented as a coach is seeing athletes through different phases. What does it take for an athlete to move from one point to the next, from that younger age to the older age to being successful on the world stage?
Mindset and don't rush it. A lot of, I would say, coaches nowadays, they see a kid run a 10-1. Oh, we're going pro. Okay, well, how many times did that kid run 10-1? They ran 10-1 one time, but there are other times they went 10-3, 10-4. That's probably about a 10-3 athlete. Sometimes we get into a rush. This new generation of parents, they have, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds out here pulling sleds. I mean, like they're getting ready to pay the bills to the house. So, just be patient. Let the kid, blossom at each level. Let each level do its job. Middle school coach do his job. High school coach do his job. College coach do his job. Professional coach do his job. And I think you have a much successful athlete after that. Okay, so with the NIL changing the game now, do you think that's causing athletes to stay in school longer, or do you think that's getting them a taste of professional and making them want to go pro quicker? I think it works both ways. It has its pros and it has its cons. Now athletes do believe in staying in college now and competing, finishing their 4 years. The con that it has is that sometimes athletes, they start getting this money and they kind of lose focus. If you're a college kid and you're getting, $500,000 or something like that, and you're in college, you're about to ball out. While in college, I ain't going to practice today. So it could be dangerous. And then especially now that they're also giving it to the high school kids. So you have a high school kid that's making more than the high school coach. What can the high school coach tell me? I'm making more than you. So, it has its pros and its cons. Definitely, man. And in the business side of things, what do you think athletes need to manage well outside of just being on the track? So that, as you said, track is your life. You have to marry it. So with the finances come off the track activities, what do you think athletes need to focus on outside of the track and field to be successful also? Academics. Academics is the most important thing. Even though you have agents, manage your books. Find out where this money going, where that money going. Even with your coaches, ask questions. I'm not saying disrespect your coach, but maybe if you see something, ask the coach, okay, coach, tell me what's this setting up for? What's this the purpose of? Then the coach can explain that to you. So, you want to learn track and field, not just run track and field, learn the sport. Yeah, that makes sense. And this is coming from somebody who's a coach himself. So obviously you're okay with accepting, those questions and knowing that, hey, it's a partnership with your athlete. So one of the things that I think is, speaking about communications, I think like with track and field contracts and the public, they're a secret. Why do you think it is that track and field contracts are such secrets? These shoe companies, some of these shoe companies, they have their ways. They have their certain coaches that they want the athlete to go to regardless how well the athlete runs. They tied in with that coach, and regardless if that athlete runs bad or not, hey, if they run bad, we'll drop them, we'll get you another one in there. So I think sometimes the shoe companies need to be fair to the athlete themselves. If the athlete feel, okay, maybe I could stay with this coach and I was doing just fine, let me stay there. But I guess the shoe companies have to have a reason to pay. these shoe company coaches.
Yeah.
And it's a funny business. It's like a we got our flings, our groups. You know, you got a group here. You may have an agent, coach, and sponsor in this corner. Agent, coach, and sponsor in that corner. So they're going to just feed each other.
Yeah.
Regardless of the results, they're going to feed each other. And it's not fair to the athletes, but some of these athletes have to start stepping up and, you know, speaking out and saying, no, I feel satisfied with my coach. This is where I'm staying.
Yeah.
I have an athlete that they tried to change him, have him go somewhere else. He said, no, I'm staying here. I'll make the money back up on the track.
Yeah.
And he made it back up on the track. So, you know, as athletes, do what you feel that's going to best represent you and be best in your best interest.
Definitely. As athletes, you know, you're the one who makes the choices that's going to define your long-term success. So let's talk about some of the things that you think could change in track and field now that could lead to the success of all the other sports, such as the NBA, the NFL.
I think mainly some of our big athletes, our top athletes, they're going to be the ones that's going to change this sport. Their voice.
Yeah.
Voice could be heard. And I think once they get these strong unions going together that some of the athletes have been talking about, and they really hold to them and say, hey, we're not stepping on the track unless these changes are made, I think then things will change for the better for track and field. You know, because right now track and field is like the stepchild. To all sports.
I mean, and there's so much talent. That's the crazy part. There's so much talent in track and field. But, you know, other sports kind of look down on us because, you know, we're not generating the same level of income. Let's change gears up a little bit. The Olympics is this year.
Yes.
Do you think the Olympics should be bigger than the World Championship, even though essentially us as track people know it's the same competition, just different location?
Same competition. I guess it's that 4-year window that, you know, everybody's seeking to really get in there and push towards. I mean, I think this Olympics is going to be special because last Olympics in Tokyo, fans couldn't come, so it's empty stands. It's been a long past, I would say, 3 to 4 years because we have championships on top of championships on top of championships. So it's been very tough, but I think this Olympic year is going to be very special. I'm really looking forward to it. You get to see something different, a purple track. So I think that's going to be hot. So I think we should. The Olympics definitely this year is going to be special. I really do. And the way you see these kids running now, even high school kids. I mean, you just saw a kid run 45, 14, 16-year-old kid. Well, these kids, these high school kids are flying. These pros, they already came out the gun blazing in the indoor track. So it's going to be a hot season. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. So you coach athletes in all different type of events. What's your favorite event that you're going to be looking for at the Olympics this year?
Of course, it's the 400. I mean, that's my bread and butter, 400. But I have, you know, a good group of sprinters, you know, Raheem Ford, who represented Jamaica last year, Tamari Davis, Andrew Hudson, Jelani Walker. So I have some Javian Oliver, Kenny Flowers. So I have a really good group of, you know, young talent that I'm bringing on now, and they're really making me stay sharp with events that I wasn't very familiar with, but I had some great coaches in the past that I've learned from, you know, and I just took things that I liked and I threw away things that I didn't like.
Okay, nice. So the World Athletics have came out with a bunch of different rules over the last couple of years. I'm going to name 3 rules to you that they came up with, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. So one of them, they renamed indoor track to short track. Agree or disagree?
I agree. It's short track. It's short. It's not, you know, Megan may say, maybe you get these indoor 400-meter runs to run 400s indoor now because you're just saying it's short.
Okay. Next one is going to be from 2025 onwards, all the track season is going to end with the World Championship or Olympic Games.
I agree. I definitely agree with that right there. There's only one pullback on that. Now, how many athletes are going to try to go out and do all them diamond leagues before? So that may put a spoiler on the major championship at the end because if you have an athlete that say, okay, I may not could win the Olympics, but hey, I go to these diamond leagues, gather up these points, get in here, get me a paycheck. They may be a little toasted a little bit by the time they get to the Olympics or the World Championship.
That's true. And they're also planning to have a World Championship every year. There's not an Olympics.
Correct.
So you agree? Disagree?
Having the World Championship every year, I don't like that. Not every year, no. I like keep it on the 2-year cycle, let the Olympics have its 4th year, and then keep that open year.
Okay, so do you think when other sports like NFL, they have the Super Bowl, and they NBA, they have the NBA championship. Do you think it's different? Track and field is different from those sports?
Track and field is different. Track and field is probably, to me, one of the most hard sports to train for.
Yeah.
Football, they may hit hard, in NFL, they may hit 2 days out the week.
Yeah, but they don't train consistently.
They don't train consistently. Track, we out here grinding every day on the track. You miss a week of practice because you caught a cold, you're gonna come back kind of flat that next day. That next week. So I think we should keep the cycle that we have. 2 off Olympics. I think that's a great cycle that they have right there.
Okay, nice. And now we're in the social media age, and athletes are looking more into growing their brand off the track. I know you're a coach, you worry about the performance, but what do you think about their branding, the business side, and them growing their image?
It's a good thing. It's an outlet to make them earn all the money, or once again, like you say, grab NIL deal, get different sponsors. So I think it's a good thing. It's the only thing with social media, you have to be careful how you carry yourself on social media. You are a professional, so you got kids looking at your social sites.
Yeah.
So if you out there on your social media and you drinking, or maybe you got some improper clothes on, you may want to be careful with that, because these little kids that out here, they look up to these track athletes, especially the pro athletes.
Okay, a couple of advice I want to ask you. Somebody's looking up to you. You're a great coach. What kind of advice could you give to somebody who wants to be a coach on your level?
There's going to be some doors that's going to be closed, but kick them in. Because if you're not in the what we call buddy system, they're going to try to blackmail you and block you out. But if you kick that door in and you beat them with results, they can't stop you. What God has for you, it's for you.
That's one of the most amazing things about track and field. Unlike other sports where you pick by somebody, in track and field you pick yourself. Nobody can stop that time, so time don't lie. Next thing I want to ask you, you've coached some amazing athletes who've had the highest level of success. We're talking about Olympic champions, world champions, athletes who's coming up. They want to be like your athletes. What some advice do you have for them?
Be yourself. Be yourself. Train hard. Stay in school. Study. And, just don't go out of character. Don't, say I want to be, don't try to be like somebody. Say I want to be better than that person. I think sometimes when people come to train group, they say, oh, I want to go train with this person. No, I don't want you to go train with this person. You could come to my group, but I expect you to beat this person. Don't train. I don't want you to be no training partner. I want you to beat them in practice. So, be yourself and go, sky's the limits. Yeah, you can't be a fan of the people you're trying to beat, for sure. Everybody, Coach Gary Evans, one of the best coaches. I worked with him personally, so I really respect everything that he's doing. Look up the stats, remember. And all those athletes that he named earlier, there's way more. He's being modest. So looking forward to talking to you some more, seeing you throughout the season, Coach. Thank you for everything.